Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO. Today, after doing a little bit of research and playtesting, I have found a really fun version of Vanquish Soul, and it's really strong, it is very consistent, and it can do a lot of things that just feel unfair, and it generates so much quick advantage that it just wins games if your opponent mistimes anything. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, and I'll show you the full main, side, and extra. Starting off, we have 3 copies of Raisin. This card on normal or special summon, you get to add a non-warrior Vanquish Soul monster from your deck to your hand, and then as a quick effect, you can reveal a fire monster or a fire and dark monster from your hand, and either A, with the fire effect, it can't be destroyed by card effects this turn, and with the fire and dark, it destroys all monsters in this card's column. You can use this with similarly to the Mech Knights in terms of how you need column placement, and the searching is always really strong. So all you need is a fire or a fire and a dark. We got 3 copies of Leol Dr. Madlove. So Dr. Madlove has an on-summon effect just like Raisin, where it can be normal, when it's normal or special summon, you get to add a Vanquish Soul spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And then as a quick effect, you can reveal either a dark or a dark and earth. If you reveal a dark, one face-up monster your opponent controls loses 500 attack and defense. Does matter, does come up. And with dark and earth, you can return one monster on the field with lowest defense on the field to the hand. It's your choice if it's tied. They're all hard once per turns, just so we're clear. We're playing 3 copies of Heavy Burger. It's Burger, but I like to say burger because it makes me think of a thick cheeseburger. So during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can target a non-machine Vanquish Soul monster you control and return it to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card from the hand. As a quick effect, you can activate one of these effects by revealing monsters from your hand, so it's either a dark or an earth and fire. With a dark, you can draw a card. With an earth and fire, you burn 1500 damage. So with 2 of these, plus an earth and fire in hand, you win the game. It's just damage on board for battle phase. But the fact that they're level 7s, they're darks. We're playing 2 copies of Vanquish Soul Caesar Valius. This is the boss monster of the deck, quote unquote. Caesar, you can bounce it by targeting a non-dragon. As a quick effect, you can reveal an earth or an earth, fire, and dark. With an earth, this face-up card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects this turn. Earth, fire, and dark, destroy 1 card on the field. Non-targeting destruction. It's really good. Now, the problem here is that it is destruction, so it does trigger things like the Unchains. In every matchup that isn't exactly Unchained, it comes up, and the ability to be unaffected is really nice. Now, we are playing 2 copies of Vanquish Soul Jiaolong. So if you reveal a card or cards in your hand to activate a Vanquish Soul card or effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, as a quick effect, you can reveal a fire or 2 fire monsters. With 1 fire, you change the battle position of 1 monster on the field, and with 2 fire monsters, you add a Vanquish Soul card from your deck to your hand. I like this at 2. It's a it being level 5 is negligible, really, but the fact that you have this level 5 searchable fire gives you more searchable fire names, which is really important. Because that is one of the weak points of the deck, because there's not a lot of good searchable fires, and there's not a lot of good searchable earths either. Speaking of not good searchable earths, there's Pantera. If you control no monsters in your main monster zones, you can special summon this card. And then from the hand, and then as a quick effect, you can reveal an earth. This card can't be destroyed by battle this turn, and earth and fire destroy all spell and traps in this card's column. So Pantera has some a pretty good use, and I've contemplated upping this to 2. I really have, just because it's a free starter to do rank 4 plays and whatever, but it's never come up enough to where I'm I need Pantera. Normally I just keep it in hand. And then I'm playing Pluton HG. I think it's really good to have a lot of fire and a lot of dark. Earth is one that we have enough of with other cards that we're running, so it's just kind of one of those things. But yeah, Pluton, so it can special summon itself. This one's different. So during your opponent's turn, if you control no monsters or only Vanquish Soul monsters in your main monster zones, you can special summon this card. And then by revealing a fire, it gains 3000 defense. And if you reveal a dark and an earth, it gains 3000 attack. Continuing the Vanquish Souls, we're playing 3 copies of Stake Your Soul. Revealing a monster, you get to summon a Vanquish Soul with a similar attribute, but it can't have the same name. It's a special summon from deck, so it's like emergency teleport for the archetype. 2 copies of Continue, which is Monster Reborn as a quick play. but you pay 500 life points. And then 1 copy of Dust Devil, which can be Book of Eclipse, but it doesn't let your opponent draw cards. It's searchable, and the cards, it's really, really good, because all you have to do is turn something to defense mode. It's not even a big deal. That does it for the Vanquish Souls. There was 20 of them. It's a little bigger than a lot, but I really, really like having a nice size engine for them, because it's 21. I'm sorry, 21. And then the rest is non-engine, so it's 42 cards. So half the deck exactly is Vanquish Soul, and the other half is not. So we're playing 3 copies of Keshtira Fenrir. This is really, really good for going second. We are also playing 1 Rise Heart. So Rise Heart is a special summonable level 4 that is searchable. So we have more searchable fire, which is really good. But if we have the Rise Heart and a Fenrir, we just search another Fenrir. We have more Earth in hand. So there's no downside to this card, because you have an Earth. You have a way to an Earth. So I really like that. We are also playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It's a fire, so it's important, but it's also a hand trap that's very versatile and really strong. 3 copies of DD Crow. It's really good in the format, being able to snipe certain things. If you play against like Runic, for example, that's a great way to snipe out 1 and then stop them from being able to draw 3 or 2 or whatever off of Fountain. And the fact that it doubles as like spell and trap banishing is really important. 1 copy of Dog the Ran. Doggerin is just it's a fire kaiju, so that's great, and that's really what it matters, is that it's a fire kaiju. Okay, we are playing 2 copies of Durendal. So Durendal is to make sure that we get a Raisin, and we can use this going first or second. So going first, if you open a Fenrir, you can equip it to Fenrir to search for Raisin, because this is the lifeblood of the Vanquish Soul stuff. So you want to make sure you get into this, right? So you can Durendal that on going first. But the other option is when you're going second, you can Durendal your opponent's card, add Raisin, and then be able to go off depending on what you have else in hand. So it's really important. We are playing 2 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust. My search targets for it are Triple Tactics Talent, Pot of Prosperity, and Rhoda. So I want Thrust to be live, and I want it to be able to search something, and that's why I only run 1 of each of these. Prosperity, I only want to resolve it once, and I don't want to bog down the deck and having too much engine. So I essentially have 3 copies of it by playing the Thrust, because I'm baiting Interruption all the time, because I do so much searching and so much other stuff. The Thrust is incredibly useful in that instance. Rhoda is the same thing. I'm basically playing 3 copies of it because I'm playing the Thrust, and I'm basically playing 3 copies of Talent with the Thrust. So by playing the Thrust, I'm allowed to play 1 of each of these, and it gives me access to what I need in that moment. So instead of being like, okay, well, I'm clogged up on Prospies or I'm clogged up on Talents, I run 3 of it by running 5. And it's just a little bit smoother for me. Because then if you open this, then you just know Thrust is not going to search Prosby, it's going to search Talent, or it's going to search Rhoda, or it's going to search Stake Your Soul, because it can search Stake Your Soul. So it lets me run also 5 copies of this, which is insane. So having Thrust, I think, as a 2 of, with 1 of each of the other spells I want, has been working perfectly. And last but not least, is there can be only 1. Yes, this is more mid-rangey, and there can be only 1. Wins games. It's one of the reasons why you can beat Unchained is because of cards like this. It's because you don't care. On to the extra. We've got 3 copies of Rock. Everything else is 1-ofs, but Rock of the Vanquisher is the lifeblood of the deck. You will be summoning this pretty much every game that you can. So it can't be used as link material while you control a Vanquish Soul monster. I'm sorry. Your opponent can only target the monster that you control with the highest attack. If it's tied, their choice. And then during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can activate one of the effects, either special summon a Vanquish Soul monster from your hand, or add a Vanquish Soul monster from your graveyard to your hand. So it lets you cycle your stuff. The rest of it is just generic stuff. So I'm playing like Dark the Dark Charmer. This might be turned into Hita because of how the format is shaping up. So this could become a Hita. 1 copy of IP Masquerena. It's just generic. We could keep Dark, play IP, and even put in Ausa. I mean, why not? 1 Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. One of the cool things you can do with this is if you talent and take an M-Pen, like let's say you're playing against Floowandereeze, you can use that M-Pen plus 2 of your cards, make this, and now the Floowandereeze player has to try to deal with this, and it's very difficult to do. We are playing 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. It's Unicorn, it's just a good card. And then 1 copy of Access Code Talker. By playing the Hita, it might actually really benefit us to go into the Access Code Talker, but I often am banishing this for Prosby. This card just doesn't... I don't think I've ever made this card. I don't think I've ever gotten that high. One of the things I'm also looking at is finding a way to Synchro Summon consistently, because I think that might be a better play. We are playing Dweller and Baguska. because they're very, very solid cards. Dweller, I summon pretty consistently, or Bagooska. Like, you can consistently get to one of these two going first, which is crazy good. And then we're playing the Zodiacs and the Zeus. Hold on. So I'm playing one of each and a Zeus, literally just to make a 6 material Zeus. This didn't come up today. It does come up. Like, it hasn't come up a lot, but it has come up for me, and it's crazy nice. Side deck is kind of up for interpretation, but I really like it, so I'll show off mine and then go from there. So 1 Pankratops, it's an Earth, which is important. It pops back row, which helps. Only 2 Kurikara. If you know you're going second, I will side out either a Pluton or a Jiaoyang and a Dogoran, or even sometimes Jiaoyang and Pluton to play the 2 Kurikaras. So that way I have 3 tributes. This one does a field, Dogoran does an individual. 3 copies of Dimension Shifter. This just steals games from a lot of decks. Just being able to say, nah, your graveyard's, nope, no mas, go away. 3 copies of Drill and Lickbird. Droll is just incredibly strong in this format. Being able to tell people, nah, you're better not. Really nice. 3 copies of Book of Moon. It's really strong in the format. There's a lot of decks that just can't deal with it. And then 3 copies of Evenly Matched to continue hating on back row decks. But that is going to do it for my Vanquish Soul deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like in the comment section down below. Let me know what your favorite part about this is. And if you have any suggestions, also leave them down there. If you want to see this deck in a live duel, you let me know by smashing that like button. And until next time, lads, good fun, have luck, and don't forget to subscribe.